5 minutes after 9 o'clock. It is time for Veterans News. Hank Whittier is in the studio. Good morning, Hank.
I'm here in the studio.
How you doing?
All that good stuff. And on my way to Dunellen and other wonderful places in Marion County, so glad to be here. I know you get people on the phone already. Good morning. I had a great morning out there right now. They're getting hot, though.
Nice,
but,
nice.
And good chance of rain this afternoon, so be careful out there driving. And who's on the phone? Somebody on the phone?
Ron DiBiase? Am I saying his name right?
Well, where's our
I don't know.
troops calling in? You can take Ron if Ron wants to talk about something.
Come on, Ron. You're on the air now.
How you doing, Hank?
Can you hear him?
I'm doing.
Can you put your headset on?
Oh, listen, Hey, Ron, I only put my headset on for you.
Uh-huh. See that?
I'm not hearing anything. Am I doing something
I got a
wrong
question
over here?
for you. What's happening with the veterans, the hospital and the clinic, and they keep discontinuing my medications.
Who does? This local clinic?
Nobody knows who's doing it.
Well, you need to come, give me a call later on. I'm going to be, I just had a meeting with them yesterday.
Right.
Myself and about 20 of us went over there and met with the local VA. Yeah, now we got a couple of things resolved, but problems, and you know what we're dealing with. You've had frustrations with them for years. I know that.
Yes.
So listen, why don't you do this? Gary is going to be in the office a little bit later. You know Gary Pascal, right?
Yes.
Ron, why don't you give Gary a call, kind of fill him in what's going on, and then I'll holler at you because I'm going to be basically out of pocket all day.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Sounds-
And don't sit on it.
Have a good day, guy. Bye.
Well, listen. Oh, hey, Ron. We got to stick together on this one, bud.
Yes. God bless.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, that's a guy. He's the VA, and he had been tangling for years. And I thought I had some things resolved with him, and so he'll call you later, fill you in what's going on or what's, and I'll deal with it. We had a great meeting with the VA yesterday, local VA, but still nobody calling in. Let's go ahead and do the casualty list, and some people get busy and other priorities, and that's fine. But we got a lot of casualties on the firefighters and police officers.
Yes, unfortunately, we do. We got quite a few. We have Deputy Chief David Fiore of New Britain, Connecticut. His end of watch was May 26th. And on the police and law enforcement casualties, we have from Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, we have Officer Mark Larson, who passed away on January 25th. He was born on January 25th. His end of watch was March 24th, 2014. And we have Corrections Officer Chad Charles from the Michigan Department of Corrections. His end of watch was May 21st, 2014. And we have Deputy Sheriff Thomas Cruz from the Franklin County Sheriff's Office in Georgia. His end of watch was May 21st, 2014. And we have Hare Caraba, Salt River Police Department. This is the tribal police from Scottsdale, Arizona. His end of watch was May 24th, 2014. And we also have several military casualties. We have one from the Korean War who was just recently accounted for, Army PFC James R. Holmes of Warren, Ohio, and he'll be buried with full military honors in Arlington National Cemetery on May 29th, which is today. We also have a Department of Defense casualty, Specialist Adrian M. Perkins of the United States Army, age 19, Pine Valley, California, died on May 17th. And also from the U.S. Army, Command Sergeant Major Martin R. Barreras, age 49. He was from Tucson, Arizona, and he died of injuries succumbed overseas.
Okay. Anybody have any local casualties? Anybody want to talk about? Okay, Larry, I know you're looking at the sunshine and all of that out there, and you want to be outside, but you got to be with us. So, if you could.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved
Appreciate it, guy. I know some of you have some announcements. What are you talking about, Dan? You're not on your medication this morning, are you? You off? You're out of medication? I'm talking to you.
Yeah, my primary care doctor didn't give me my prescription.
Yeah. All right, you get some. Oh, let's let him do his important announcements from our friends at Palm and Bob Wines and all that good stuff.
Yeah, we want to give special thanks to our sponsors and to WOCA Radio. So we're going to take a minute to talk about Palm Chevrolet, located on Highway 200 in beautiful Ocala. Right now, there's a big inventory of trucks and cars down there, and if you want a truck, zero down, you get to keep the rebates. You just can't beat that. You're going to pay less than the Chevrolet dealer pays. So stop in at Palm Chevrolet and make sure you tell them you heard about them here on WOCA Radio and you heard about them during the Veterans News Hour. And also, we want to thank Bob Wines, Camellia Garden and Nurseries. Now, it's coming up on June. We're in the end of May. You want to get those flowers in the ground while you got the time to enjoy them. When it comes to landscaping, Bob Wines has everything that you need, everything that you can imagine, from small plants to large trees, mulch, fertilizers, all kinds of supplies. And they'll even deliver it if you can't pick it up in that new Chevrolet truck you bought. And Bob Wines also guarantees their trees, so come on and see them. They're located at 2610 Southeast 38th Street in beautiful Ocala, or you can contact them at 629-5766.
You missed it.
Yeah, no, he didn't miss it. He
No,
didn't
yeah,
miss
he
it.
did.
He'll tell you he missed it, but he didn't miss it. No, none of us are that old.
And none of us are blind.
No.
I have to look at the videotape later.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Sergeant Curley.
Good morning,
It is a
Ocala
good
County, and the fellows here at WOCA radio station. I'd just like to tell everybody how much we appreciate the help and all the sponsorships that was given to us for the 5th annual VFW Post 7193 golf tournament. We had several whole sponsors. Among them was Veterans Helping Veterans with Hank Whittier. We had the WOCA radio station, The Source. We also have the VFW Post 7193, the commander. We had the VFW District 22 commander. We had Papa Jake Townley's Manufacturing and Engineering Company. We had the Military Order Purple Heart Chapter 466, along with the American Legion Post 284, American Legion Post 210. We also had sponsorships by Big Midget Grocery and Wayne's Kitchen. And guess what? We even had some door prizes sponsored by Fabulous Cuts, Brian Jones, Hunt & Son Jewelers, Post Office Tire Company, and the Reverend Dr. Melvin E. Cotton Jr. of the Raymond Missionary Baptist Church. These are the people who helped us with the door prizes and everything. And would you believe it? The Forest High School boys won first place. I think their score was 11 under par. And the Forest High School girls won second place. I think they were like 9 under. So we have some interesting players, some interesting golfers played, and everybody had a good time.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, outstanding. Very good. Don, I hate to ask this. Williams, you got anything you want to talk about? Yeah. Outstanding. I like that.
You don't know me, man.
I know Don Harrison does because he always has something he wants to say.
I think it's time to talk about the Shriners who helped us with our charity event. They're going to be having the rodeo event in August.
You know the difference.
Yeah,
okay.
The radio's going to be on the rodeo, and that's going to be in August. And I think we should start thinking about.
Absolutely, they need to come on and talk about it. And there's a lot of stuff coming up in September. The real estate people have their big chair auction and celebration over there at the college, and so we're going to have a lot of people coming on talking about their individual events. But the Shriners are outstanding people. You are a Shriner.
Yes, I am. I'm a Shriner, proud to be.
You are too.
So is
and
Curly.
Don Williams has started the process. And,
Yes. And now you have to say that meeting the other day we had that you put together, Hank, was very good. It was very
yesterday?
informative. It's the beginning of networking with the community. And once we get together, as a community, we get stronger and we can address those issues.
Yeah, well, I was,
Veterans.
again, Henry Ben Lolo from the college came over who's student services. They got about 500 vets that out here at the local college, all, pursuing different degrees and careers. So Henry came over. I've known Henry for a lot of years. He and I worked together at old HRS years ago. And the Sheriff's Department was represented by Terry Bavard, and there was a lot of people there, the State's Attorney's Office, a lot of veterans, just a lot of good people, the VA and Dr. Knapp, who I always kind of pat on the back for the things that he does. But it was an open dialogue about some issues that we needed to correct locally.
And that's why it's
and
important.
We had some, that...
That's why it's important for the veterans to call in and tell us what's keeping them up at night.
Yep.
So we understand the issues, so we can articulate them with the community and get some resolution to these issues.
Yeah, well, again, I tell vets, and we are at the table now, and I hope some of you folks out there listening, there's the controversy going on. I will tell you that it's really deeper than you think it is and more involved than you think it is, and it's not just about waiting lists. There's a whole lot of issues. But credit again to the local clinic and the local doc here, Knapp, who's willing to sit down and talk about it and resolve the issues. Now, nothing's perfect, although, and I was chastised for my 100%, but,
yeah.
But, I'm not, I'm into this. I ask for 100% of cooperation, and particularly when it comes to veterans, and I won't accept anything else. And,
the old
they're
saying,
striving for it, so I'll give them credit for that.
set your goals low enough that you'll achieve them.
You'll achieve it.
So
Yeah,
you
well,
have
that's
to
what the
keep 'em
VA has
high.
done in the past. I still have issues with Gainesville and other VA facilities. There's still some administrators up in Gainesville that need to go. And when we talk to our congressional delegation, I will mention them, and I hope. But if you're a veteran, not just like this guy that called in this morning, I know what he's talking about. I thought I had it resolved. But if you don't talk about it, you don't talk to veterans who are willing to speak up on your behalf, the problem continues. They're a hard outfit to deal with.
Yeah.
You got to have numbers, and you got to have network, and when you can sit down at that table with a lot of people, including Kathy Bryan from the county commission was there, and expressed her concern, and Jeffrey Askew came over. That's a lot of power, local power, sitting at one table talking to the VA about issues that need to be addressed, at least locally, and you can accomplish a lot. But if I don't know what your problem and your issue is, if it's a legitimate issue, talk to me about it. If
Now,
it's not, I'll tell you, hey, it's not worth pursuing. But most issues are. And we
bet.
talked about transportation for vets. We talked about that whole waiting list thing. We talked about the urgent care and the need to be veterans to be seen. I'm going to have Dr. Knapp come in and address his new policy to see more veterans.
That was
in a
really
more timely
interesting
manner.
when he said, bring the vet in so we can document it
Yeah.
and then assess. And then, like, they do the triage on them before you send them up to Shands.
Yeah.
So
But I mean,
they
again, you can
follow up.
if you stick together and I tell veterans this all the time. I heard you briefly, Larry, talking about Montel Williams, I guess,
Yes.
this morning.
Yes.
And apparently he said some controversial things yesterday. I don't know exactly the context of it or the other
support
day.
of veterans.
But, what we've been after for a long time is to have veterans committees in every hospital and every facility to work with the VA, not to do their work for them. I'm not a doctor or a nurse, but I do look good in white. But
Oh, God.
but
There we
but,
go.
as I'm laid out probably. But no, but. But, again, I believe and I think there needs to be a committee of veterans in every VA facility to deal with veterans issues and to meet with the administrators once a month. And I've talked to every politician that I can about that. The VA is adamantly against that because they don't want you to see what's going on. Okay. And if you got something to hide, that's when that's my assumption. You have something to hide. Otherwise, you wouldn't be opposed to it. So you got a phone call, you can take it.
Yes, sir. Good morning. You're on the air with Hank.
Good morning, Hank and the crew. I go back years when I did volunteer literally with Jim Degg and Mr. Wiley, and then had one secretary, and they had a little building right across. You go in the corner. As a matter of fact, it was right on the edge of a corner, and this was, oh my goodness, about 30-something years ago. And myself and a couple other social workers, we literally, in order to get health for veterans, we would have to take and put them in our car, and we did this as volunteers. We started even before they had what they call a Christian medical clinic. We would have to take them to the VA hospital, and then finally at one time they started sending a bus or whatever. I don't know what happened, but you guys do a tremendous job from where we were. I mean, you're eons ahead from when we first started. Even at the hospitals, we couldn't even transfer them sometimes from the hospitals. As social workers and stuff like that. So while maybe there are a lot of problems still, but what you guys do is this county is blessed because a lot of counties don't have what you guys provide. And I know, like I said, going back 30, 40 years, I started when I was like 20-something years old, volunteered, taking my car and not getting no kind of compensation. I didn't want any, really. And we just, a handful of us, we would take veterans over there and then have to go back and pick them up. So you guys continue to keep up the good work. And like you say, the squeaky wheel gets the wall. Have a good day.
That's right. Yeah, Lenny's right. That happened when I first came here. That was a major issue, the transportation. There was no transportation to the VA hospital in Gainesville, and we didn't have the clinic at that time. So when we proposed it, some of the administrators up there, and we were willing to raise the money, actually tried to deep six it behind the scenes. They were really talking against it, that we didn't need it. So that's what you deal with administrators, because they thought it would make more work for them.
Yeah.
So
I remember when you
bureaucracy.
first started doing the radio show. I mean, the complaints at that time were alleviated. The long lines was one we heard a lot, and I really agree with what Lenny's saying. You guys really made a big difference.
Well, Don's right. If you all work together and enough of you get together, nothing's insolvable. You can solve. But you got to cooperate, and you got to let other veterans groups. I don't care what the issue is. It could be about children. It could be about pets. I don't care what you're trying to solve. If you work together, and that's what I found out about this county. If you're willing to sit down at the table and talk to other groups and other individuals, you can solve these problems. Yeah. And you have to be willing to work hard and put in a lot of time, and you got to be willing to step on toes. And I like that, actually, to be honest with you.
It actually boils down to treating people with dignity. Mm-hmm. And I watch this a lot when I go to the hospitals or the care centers. You're not treated with dignity. It's like next. Next person, like you're putting them out of their way, and they got to get back to basics and learn and get educated again. We talk about doctors' bedsides manners. Mm-hmm. Well, we need VA representatives up at the VA hospitals that go through some of these classes, sensitivity classes, when veterans are coming in, no matter if they're young or old, they're a veteran, and they should be treated equally. And that's what I don't like when I see them next. I'm not a number. Mm-hmm. I'm not here begging for care. You owe it to me. You weren't with me when I was in the jungle. Now I'm back, and you won't. You don't want to treat me with dignity. You want to treat me as if you're doing me a favor.
Well, in addition to that, I watch all these talking heads on the news, and a lot of them don't even, they really think they're trying to serve veterans, and they are keeping this issue on the forefront. But in most cases, most of us are paying for this care. Yeah. My insurance pays for this care. I go to the VA because I know they're going to the VA also pump some money into the system for veterans who don't have it. So when you go in there, it's not like you go in there as a charity case. Most of it. There are some veterans who don't have the funds and are treated free, but a lot of us are paying for, it's my insurance that's paying for the care.
And I don't mind doing that
neither
myself.
do I, and that's quite one of the reasons I've kept my VA being active, plus being able to, say what I want to say with the VA. So
now, when you have politicians trying to help you out, that's the mechanism. Okay?
Yeah, it's one of the mechanisms.
That's your policies, that's your directives, that's your laws and regulations. But what they lack is the follow-up is with the mechanics of making it happen. How do you monitor? How do you observe? How do you evaluate the folks when they start executing those plans and strategies, and they don't follow up? So
what happens? Well, they don't have a sense enough. Honestly, they don't have sense enough to follow up all at the time. I think what he was talking about with Montel Williams was putting people back into the hospitals, corpsmen or something.
Yeah.
But see, that gets back to that, having veterans involved in reviewing what's going on in every facility. They have a patient advocate. Well, who's the patient advocate work for? They're VA employees. Right. Are they going to challenge their boss? Absolutely not. Right. And the VA is harder on people who try to correct the issue, try to solve the problems. They're much harder on those folks. They are on people who caused veterans to die. I mean, I can give you a story. I won't talk about individuals. That'll probably get me a lawsuit. But, I've seen some just horrendous situations where the patients have died, and all they've said through someone's negligence, and all they've said to the doctors, don't do that again.
Hey.
Well, my goodness, you just killed somebody.
Yeah.
And yet a whistleblower will come along, or some poor nurse who has a better idea how to treat veterans or how to deliver services, and they just will crucify them.
Yeah.
So it's a malignant system that needs to be corrected. The problem is the vast majority in that system are great people. They're really trying to serve the veterans. They're trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But there's a significant number, particularly in the administration, who are more concerned about bonuses, and they're willing to falsify and lie and do everything else they can to get their bonuses at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's really
So,
wow.
veterans have the ability to solve it, and I think it's, in the long run, this is really a good thing because it's brought what a lot of veterans have been saying. Veterans have been complaining about these sort of things since I've been involved.
Get it out in the public.
So it's out in the public. It's out in the news. The politicians can't say they didn't know anymore. They certainly do know. But good things will happen.
Sure hope so.
Huh?
I think with your program with the PTSD that you're trying to establish, that's another big issue. Believe me, when it comes down to PTSD, that's going to be a lingering issue for a long time with these folks, because they're going to start falling into these situations where they're going to behave abnormally. Things are going to happen. I think that's the
I've been behaving abnormally for years. I mean, long before I did the Marine Corps thing.
And they did say you had PTSD, so you don't have to be in the jungle to get it. So I think that's.
What I told you? I told them I had it before I went in the Marine Corps, and the Marine Corps made me a lot better. They really did. They made me better.
Yeah, they sprinkled the dust on you at Paris Island.
Right, a lot of dust. Yeah.
Where did you go to San Diego?
No, I went to PI.
Did you graduate?
No. They just got tired of, sending me from one platoon to the other and decided to get rid of me. Yeah. Hey,
Well, it's a national issue right now, and it's been made nationally known.
Yeah.
99 days delay on seeing a veteran that needed it.
Everybody knows, and I'll mention his name. Everybody knows Joe Alfano because Joe works with us. Joe has had a heart problem for the last 40 years and been in the VA system many years. He was, they recognized him as having a heart problem. They never sent him to a cardiologist, not once.
Oh, wow.
Not once. And we finally talked to him and said, Joe, listen, if money's an issue or your family, so he got some private insurance. He went to his cardiologist. Had he not done that, he would have been long dead. When they got the VA records in, the VA never had him down as a heart problem. The guy's had about 12 heart attacks, and still functioning, still doing well. But those are the sort of things that happen, and that's happened dozens. And I said yesterday, this business about maybe 40 veterans have died. Listen, thousands of veterans have died as a result of the negligence of the VA.
Wow. That's
All right,
sad.
guys, listen, we're preaching again, so it's going to be a great day in Ocala. We got to move on. We're going to talk a little bit about Palm and Bob Wines before we go. I know it's a half-hour show, so we got to move it, guys.
And we're at the end right here.
Yeah,
So.
say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Better move, Gary.
Hey, thanks for your service.
Chevrolet and Bob Wines, Camellia Gardens Nursery. Make sure you tell them when you go there that you heard about them on WOCA during the Veterans News Hour.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Who would you feed if you had 50 chicken sandwiches from Chick-fil-A? WOCA and Chick-fil-A in the Paddock Mall have teamed up to reward one organization with 50 chicken sandwiches as a way of saying thanks for the great work that organization is doing in our community. And we need your help. See, there are so many great people doing great things that we need nominations. You can nominate your own organization or any organization you choose. Simply send an email to WOCA@WOCA.com. And in 350 words or less, tell us why the organization you are nominating should receive 50 free chicken sandwiches from